Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day. Thank you for listening. Today I'm going to do another prediction for NFC North today. Football season's right around the corner. I think like 10 days left or something like that. But anyway, let's get into this prediction. Like I said, NFC North, we have Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago. You know, it's a decent division. I mean, not the best division, but by far not the worst by any means. I think the AFC South has that division locked up as being the worst. But anyway, so far, let's go ahead and get into it with what I think, or who I think is going to be the worst team. And, man, I had a lot of debates over this, a lot of internal thought. You know, something I really sit up at night wondering who's going to be better. The Chicago Bears or the Detroit Lions. Two pittance of franchises. Man, I mean, they just can't figure it out. And I think I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. Now, it could really be either or. I can see Chicago being just better than Detroit, or Detroit just better than Chicago. Honestly, I just happen to like a couple of the receivers on Detroit a little bit more. And I think Goff can actually be a decent quarterback. Mitch Trubisky is still kind of... we don't know what we're going to get from him, so that's why I'm going to go with the Bears to be the worst. Let's go ahead and take a look at their schedule. I think they're going to get a loss against the 49ers, a loss against the Packers. I think they could get a win against Texans. They might win against the Giants, but I'm going to pick that as a loss. And then they're going to lose against the Vikings. Most likely a win against the Redskins or Washington. Definitely a loss against the Patriots. They ain't beating the Patriots. They're not going to beat the Cowboys. They'll probably beat the Dolphins. And let's go ahead and give them a win over Detroit, just for sakes, you know. Lost against the Falcons, lost against the Jets. Let's have a token big win of the year against the Packers, you know, a big rivalry game. They'll get that one, I'm sure, somehow. Then they'll wrap up the season with a loss to the Eagles, loss to the Bills, and maybe another win over Detroit. Actually, no, they're going to lose that. They're not going to win both games against Detroit. And then, again, another loss to the Vikings, and they're going to end the season, was that 5-12? Yeah, that seems about right for them, so let's lock it in, 5-12, and not a lot to write home, just a lot of development this year. They've got some talent, they do, and there's a lot of players on this team that I actually look at for fantasy reasons, but this ain't the year, but hopefully they can build something for the future. As it stands right now, I think 5-12 is just fine for them. Let's go ahead and move on to a surprising team, at least in my opinion, for this year, and it's the Detroit Lions. I know they've been horrible, and they were absolutely dreadful last year. My goodness, I couldn't imagine it'd go that wrong for them, but it did. And hey, it seems like every time I picked against them, they won, every time I picked them to win, they would humiliate me. But when I was least expecting it, they'd get a win. Of course, it's how it goes. But I think they're going to be all right, a little bit better this year. Actually, a lot better this year. Hopefully they can stay healthy. But let's get into their season. They're going to start off with a loss against the Eagles, win against the Washington Redskins, loss against the Vikings, win against the Seahawks, loss against the Patriots, loss against the Cowboys and Dolphins. I think they're going to get humiliated against the Packers. But then they'll have a decent win against the Bears, you know, a rivalry game. And then they'll lose against the Giants. They'll lose against the Bills. Get a couple wins over the Jaguars and the Vikings. Have a humiliating loss against the Jets. Pick up a win on the Panthers. Beat the Bears again. And wrap up the season with a loss to the Packers, ultimately ending the season 8-9. Very respectable, decent, below 500, but way better than they were last year. And hopefully it's a step in the right direction for this franchise, because they desperately need it. But still, you know, below average and the second worst team in this division. Next up is the Minnesota Vikings. Somehow I always seem to underestimate this team, or actually not underestimate, overestimate. I always think they're a lot better than what they are. And I'm not going to do that this year, though I do believe they have a potential to be one of the better teams. But they're not going to be great, and they're not going to win the division. Obviously, I have them picked for second. But let's get into their schedule. I think they're going to get a couple of big wins early against the Eagles and the Packers. Get another win against the Lions. Finally lose in London against the Saints. Win against the Bears. Loss against the Dolphins. Loss against the Cardinals, Washington, and the Bills. A little bit of a losing streak there, but they'll flip their misfortune and they'll get a win against the Cowboys, the Patriots, and the Jets. Yeah, I even have them beating the Patriots. Look at that. They're going to lose against the Lions, the Colts, win against the Giants, lose against the Packers, and finally wrapping up the season with a win against the Bears. Now, I think this team is going to be knocking on the door for a wild card position, and I think they're just going to miss it. It's going to be close. It's going to come down to them and the Eagles, in my opinion, but we'll see. There's a lot more competition in the AFC, in my opinion. Though, actually, I shouldn't say that. Both divisions are a lot of fun to watch come playoff time. But, I don't know. Let's get into it. The Green Bay Packers, which, by far is going to be the best team in this division. Everyone already knows that. So let's go ahead and get in their schedule. Now, just from looking at their schedule, I think it's going to be very interesting. I don't think they're going to get in too many big streaks. They're not going to lose like 3 or 4 in a row. They're not going to win more than 4 in a row. I can't imagine that. So this is what I have. Starting off, a loss against the Vikings. Win against the Bears. Loss against the Buccaneers. Looking forward to this game. I think they're going to beat my Patriots. They're going to win against the Giants. Win against the Jets. Win against Washington. Lose against the Bills. That's going to be another really good game to watch. They're going to destroy the Lions. Just really embarrass them. A good old-fashioned beatdown and demoralizing loss for the Lions. They're going to beat the Cowboys right after that, and then a disappointing loss to the Titans, but a decent win against the Eagles, another beatdown on the Bears, a win against the Rams, a statement win there, a loss against the Dolphins, and then we'll close out the year with 2 wins over the Vikings and Lions, cementing their season with 11-6, pretty solid, clear-cut favorites in this division. I think I made a mistake. I think I had them winning against the Bears in that December 4th game, that last one they played them. I think they're actually going to lose that game. I think the Bears will get a win over them, and they're rivalries, and I can't imagine them just sweeping the whole series, even though the Bears aren't that great. They always come out and they play well against the Packers. As much as my Packer friends can't stand that, I find it hilarious and comical. Anyways, what's your thoughts on this division? Who do you think is going to be the best? Who do you think is going to be the worst? I admittedly, I kind of mail it in on this division every year. I don't pay attention to them much. The Packers here and there. But to me, they're just a forgettable division. I mean, Detroit's the ultimate, example of mediocrity. The Bears are right there with them. Vikings, yeah, they're all right. They're okay, kind of forgettable. And then you just have the Packers. I mean, other than them, there's not a whole lot of relevance there. I will definitely be trying to spend more time watching and understanding these teams this year, trying to get out of my comfort zone. But, when time and life gets in the way, what are you going to do about it? But anyway, let me know what your predictions are. Let me know if you think my predictions are crazy. And as always, take it easy, and God bless.